Hello everyone, you're watching the program Capital Ideas Live and I'm the host Mike Gibson. At the beginning of 2023, a program of cooperation was signed between the government of Moscow and the municipality of Manila, the capital of the Philippines. This agreement can be considered historic since Moscow was the first region of Russia to become a partner of Manila. Therefore, today our program is dedicated to the Philippines. We will spend one day together with the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of the Philippines to the Russian Federation, Igor Bailen. Today on the program, a day in the life of the Republic of the Philippines Ambassador to the Russian Federation, Igor Bailen. Business meetings and informal conversations, the negotiations between the Ambassador of the Philippines and the CEO of the TV channel Big Asia. How the Ambassador of the Philippines gets around Moscow and which parks he likes to visit. How the choir, the Male Ensemble Philippines, was entertained at the Ambassador's residence. Igor Bailen, a career diplomat, comes from a family of educators. He joined the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs in 1997. A lawyer by training, he earned a Master of Law degree, International Legal Studies, from the American University in Washington, D.C. as a Fulbright Scholar. He was posted to Paris from 2003 to 2009 as Deputy Permanent Delegate of the Philippines to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, and in New York from 2012 to 2018 as Legal Advisor of the Philippine Permanent Mission to the United Nations. Before coming to Moscow, he led the Department's Office of Treaties and Legal Affairs, as well as the Maritime and Ocean Affairs Office at the same time. He is also concurrent ambassador to the Republic of Armenia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. For his services to Philippine diplomacy, he was recently decorated by the President of the Philippines with the Gawad Mabini, rank of Dakilang Kamanong, or the Grand Cross.
His Excellency the Ambassador of the Philippines, Igor Bailen, is an amazing person and outstanding diplomat.
Oh yeah, he's the Ambassador of the Philippines. Igor Bailen is very active. He is everywhere, in every occasion, functions, diplomatic events. So he's everywhere, talking to everybody and have a lot of friends.
He has integrity, joie de vivre, and also his talent at putting his people at ease and making him work doubly hard for him.
He has a reputation at the department for being one of the brightest legal minds among our ranks of officers. And aside from that, he's very down to earth. He can talk to just about anyone, and you know, his mind works like a steel trap.
He's really a legal luminary of the department, and it's a privilege to work with the ambassador now in Russia.
He has this vision that we really like to execute to the letter because he knows what he wants, and it's always the best. He has great ideas, and it's great working for someone as cultured and as well-read, and he has this encyclopedic knowledge about just about everything when it comes to culture.
We are located in the center of Moscow on Kamenetsky Lane. The Embassy of the Republic of the Philippines is located here. Of course, outsiders are not permitted to enter, but we have a unique opportunity to personally meet with Mr. Ambassador directly on the territory of the diplomatic mission. So, let's go in. Diplomatic relations between the Republic of the Philippines and the USSR were established in 1976. 2 years later, the country's embassy opened in this building. Now it houses the office of the diplomatic mission of the Philippines in Russia and the residence of the ambassador.
This is essentially our meeting room.
Right.
I rarely hold my meetings in my office.
Right.
This one basically because there are more seats and it's a larger space. And I think you get a bit of inspiration from all of these men
Right.
who came before me.
On the walls of the embassy conference hall are portraits of diplomats who, for almost half a century, led the diplomatic mission of the Republic of the Philippines in the USSR and Russia.
Ambassador Luis Moreno Salcedo was the first Philippine ambassador to the Soviet Union, to Moscow. And he was here for 5 years. Before he was posted in Moscow, he was ambassador in France.
Right.
He was in Paris. Before Paris, he was Philippine ambassador to South Vietnam in Saigon.
Wow.
After Saigon, Paris, Moscow. Then after Moscow, he was our ambassador to the UN in New York.
Oh, right. Igor Bailen is the 11th ambassador of the Republic of the Philippines to the Russian Federation. His portrait will appear on the walls of the diplomatic mission only after he completes his work in Moscow. In the meantime, the icon of the venerable Prince Igor of Chernigov, presented to the ambassador by the Russian artist Mikhail Mikhailin, hangs in its place.
As I look at my predecessors, it will inspire me to do good, to live up to what is expected of me. But then to see a saint here that I actually follow the name of a saint, I think it gives an extra push for me working really harder and to do my job with integrity, with service, and with dignity.
Mr. Bailen has been Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of the Philippines to the Russian Federation for a year and a half. According to him, the offer to lead this post was a surprise for him.
I remember the day, this was February 15, I was supposed to be work from home that day, and while waiting for my breakfast at this restaurant near my place, I received this email of my career from the foreign minister telling me that he was going to sign my papers as the country's ambassador to Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, the Bolshoi, Akhmatova, Pushkin, and all of that. And it just hit me. What am I reading?
Tell us about when you first came to Moscow and what were your first impressions?
That was the 27th of February last year. That was a very worrisome time to be arriving in Moscow because of for the reasons we know. It was, I think, the height of winter. It wasn't snowing the day I arrived, but I remember the plane taxiing in Domodedova airport and snow sheet, ice sheet covering the runways. And I thought, well, here I am finally in Moscow.
So tell me, when you were appointed to become ambassador for Russia here in Moscow, what was the reaction of sort of friends and family?
Well, they were happy, first of all, that I was already getting my ambassadorial appointment. But they were also a bit concerned. But I just had to tell them that, you know, I am a good soldier. We're all good soldiers. We have our instructions. If the president, the foreign minister believe that I should be going to Moscow to serve the country in that capacity, then that's where I will go.
In 2021, the Russian Federation and the Republic of the Philippines celebrated 45 years of diplomatic relations. As the country's official representative, the ambassador plays a key role in the development of bilateral relations between the countries and their capitals. For example, in early 2023, thanks to the efforts of Mr. Igor Bailen, an official delegation from the Department for External Economic and International Relations of the city of Moscow visited Manila, the capital of the Philippines.
We were amazed at the spirit of friendship, the spirit of cooperation that was present when we visited Manila City Hall, the city parliament. We held a wonderful conference. We signed a cooperative agreement in which we intend to exchange experience in various areas. And in the field of urban planning, urbanism, and the social sphere. We agreed to promote humanitarian ties and develop tourism. And our Filipino colleagues are very interested in the digital solutions that are used in Moscow today, as it is one of the most digitally advanced metropolitan areas in the world today.
The daily schedule for Igor Bailen, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of the Philippines, includes business trips, receptions, and official events at various levels. Thus, during the filming of this issue of our program, Ambassador Bailen took part in a meeting of representatives of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which was held at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Moscow. The Philippines is one of the 10 member countries of this international organization.
We are here. I'm engaged with my colleagues as now this year is chair of ASEAN, as a chair of ASEAN. Of course, we have a lot of activities together here. Discussion on various issues. We have planned to go to universities to talk about ASEAN matters. And discussion among ourselves about various issues that are occurring in this region.
Of course, Indonesia and the Philippines were very close countries in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and we're close brothers and neighbors, and we have long work together on many issues in culture, in IT, and in business. Currently, this year, the chairman of ASEAN is Indonesia, and therefore we support the initiatives of Indonesia, not just in culture, in IT, but of course in issues of security, of ASEAN and connectivity among the ASEAN countries, among themselves and with the other partners around the region and throughout the world.
The Ambassador of the Republic of the Philippines' active professional life is not limited to solely Moscow. Igor Bailen often travels to other Russian regions. For example, in early summer, he took part in the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum.
Alexander Alexeyevich.
Good day. Glad to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming to the embassy. Welcome.
During the filming of our program, Alexander Lebedev, CEO of the TV channel Big Asia and the website bigasia.ru, visited the Embassy of the Republic of the Philippines, held talks with the head of the diplomatic mission, and discussed the development of bilateral cooperation.
I believe we had a very productive conversation with Ambassador Bailen. We exchanged views on how to improve our relations in the information space. Diplomats do a lot to make relations between states more trustworthy and understandable. But for people to get to know each other better, mutual relations must be built primarily on knowledge. Knowledge of history, culture and traditions. And we agreed today that we will certainly find a partner in Manila with whom we will sign an agreement to promote accessible Russian content about our people, about our culture. We will also promote information about the Philippines, not only on Big Asia's website and news space, but also on other cooperative networks with whom we work.
After the business portion of the meeting, Ambassador Bailen and Mr. Lebedev exchanged memorable gifts and played a symbolic game of chess. The ambassador is a great fan of this game and is friends with the legendary Soviet Grandmaster Anatoly Karpov. It was in the Philippines, in the city of Baguio, in 1978, that the legendary match took place, in which Karpov defeated Viktor Korchnoi and became the 12th world chess champion.
We played on the chessboard of Karpov signed.
Right.
And I have another when I had him for dinner with the Moscow city government. So I asked the great Karpov, could you please sign this?
That's great.
Because, of course, it has to be, beside. I have another chessboard here that's Magnus Carlsen.
Ah, this one.
From Norway.
Right.
So the former world chess champion, he didn't defend. So there's a new world chess champion right now, Ding Liren from China.
Right. The last time I played chess was many years ago when I was at school. I'll try to remember now. Igor Bailen's love of chess was instilled in him by his father, a professor and teacher of anthropology. In his spare time, he coached the university chess team. Just put him somewhere
king, right.
and also protect him with a wall.
And the queen will do half of the work.
Right, the queen is the scary one.
Queen's Gambit.
The Queen's Gambit. It's excellent. Great.
Thanks very much. We'll
Thank
finish
you.
this game next time.
Yes, exactly. Together with Mr. Ambassador, we arrived at the Moscow Tchaikovsky State Conservatory. Today, there is a concert of the vocal group, the Male Ensemble Philippines. Igor Bailen is a great admirer of Russian classical music and regularly attends various cultural events in the capital. He is a frequent and honored guest at the Tchaikovsky Conservatory.
My mother was an opera singer and she taught a lot of Filipino music and world music, Italian bel canto, American jazz, German lieder, American Negro spirituals, and of course Russian classical music. And as a matter of fact, because she was a fan and a student of world music, including Russian music, I was even given a Russian name, Igor, which is a combination of Igor Stravinsky and the opera Prince Igor by Alexander Borodin, the great Russian composer.
Musicians of the vocal group, the Male Ensemble Philippines, came to the Russian capital for the first time to take part in the 21st International Music Festival, the Universe of Sound. On the stage of the Moscow State Tchaikovsky Conservatory's small hall, they performed Kundiman serenades, traditional Filipino love songs, Renaissance madrigals, light classics, and songs from movies.
At first, you will find them really conserved, but then again, it's that amazing energy from creating that music, and you will actually feel that energy within this hall. When we were performing a while ago, it was like, oh my God, we're really feeling it. And as the program progressed, we're like feeling more and more excitement, and it was really fun to perform for a Russian audience and Filipino audience as well.
After the concert, the audience kept the artists on stage for a long time. They took pictures with the musicians and asked them questions about their work.
Amazing concert, beautiful voices. I have worked in the Philippines before. There are a lot of very talented artists in the Philippines in general. And the madrigal did not disappoint. Just terrific. Very rich repertoire. A great mix of national music and popular world music. Just terrific. Really enjoyed the concert. Amazing voices. Very interesting repertoire selection. Both recognizable classical choices and Filipino songs, that is. The kids especially liked the song Coconut, where there was dancing.
Oh, it was lovely. It was very nice to be able to be here tonight, and I had so much fun, especially in the last part with the coconut nut. It's like it reminds me of my younger age, and it's really fun, and it's happy to be here tonight.
According to Ambassador Bailen, Moscow has become a second home for him. He believes that it is a unique city in which it is convenient and pleasant to live. Igor Bailen often takes Moscow public transportation as he believes it is a great way to get to know the city better.
I take the bus less often than the metro.
Right.
But I've taken the bus when I would commute to go to the Bolshoi Theater.
Oh, right.
Some weekends, and I love it that they're efficient, they're clean, and I think they have reliable service.
Yeah. I think the buses here are amazing.
And then I think they're very smart. I have my Troika card, but I am told that you could use your Mir card every time you get on the bus. So I think that's a treat because it saves you time. I walk down the Moskva, down to Gorky Park, listening to the wind of change.
Yes. One of the ambassador's favorite places in Moscow is Gorky Park.
So, I mean, having lived in other famous capitals where there's shared public spaces like parks are very important. So realizing, that even Muscovites enjoy being out here in an open space of greenery, like world-famous Gorky Park.
Despite his busy work schedule and high diplomatic position, Ambassador Bailen does not avoid ordinary household chores. For instance, cooking for his guests. And now the ambassador is cooking his signature dish for guests. Let's go and take a look. And now we're going into the kitchen. Preparations are already in full swing here. The guests are about to arrive.
Tonight I'm not making another Filipino dish, but it's something home-cooked, meatball spaghetti.
These meatballs resemble their Russian cousins, frikadelki and tefteli. Ambassador Bailen learned this recipe when he lived in New York.
Being in New York, with a large population of Italian Americans, I think pasta is a favorite New York thing.
Right.
So you have the beef, the parmesan, the breadcrumbs, salt and pepper, the parsley, the garlic, and then the egg to bind everything. One of the most important things about being a boss, whether you're a diplomat or a CEO, is learning how to feed people, right? You can't expect people to work hard as you expect them if they're hungry.
The delicious meal Ambassador Bailen is preparing is for the members of the Male Ensemble Philippines, who have been invited to join him for dinner tonight.
Hello boys, good evening. Здравствуйте. Добрый вечер. I think everyone is hungry or thirsty or both. Let's have some family-style dinner then. Please.
Dinner's ready.
It was a beautiful surprise coming here to Russia. First and foremost, I am really particular when it comes to the culture and arts of every country I visit in. And Russia has one of the richest when it comes to architecture and culture.
And the people were so nice. Everyone is so nice here. And the fact that they really liked every bit of our song, really appreciated it. And we felt, very validated with that.
It's really impressive, and I'm quite surprised when I arrived here. It's really beautiful. I just wish that, more Filipinos could visit Moscow or Russia.
I was very delighted to meet Mr. Ambassador Igor Bailen, who is a wonderful conversationalist. I hope you, like me, were very interested. You've watched the programme Capital Ideas Life. I'm Mike Gibson. See you in the next issue. Bye.